Hey, this is Tony here with Salt Strong, and in this video I just want to give a quick tip as far as finding the proper size jig heads to use on your soft plastic lures. Now there are, as you can see, a variety of sizes as far as jig heads go, and not just the weight of the jig head, but actually the length of the shank of the hook makes a huge difference in which lures you would want to use them with. So ideally, you want to make sure whenever you put a jig head on a lure that the curve of the hook pretty much comes out either right around the middle of the body or a little bit in front of it. Because what happens is if you put too long of a hook on your lure, especially if it's a paddle tail lure, it will definitely affect the action. You don't want that hook coming out close to the base of the tail because that's definitely going to restrict the action of the tail. So again, you want to make sure that your jig head is sized up properly so that when you do put it into the lure, it comes out just around the middle of the body. Also, what you don't want to do is have a jig head that is too short, because what's going to happen is usually the fish are going to strike the lure from behind, and there's a good chance they're going to miss that hook because it's so far in front of the lure. Also, what you want to make sure you're doing when you go to the store and you're trying to size up which jig head is going to work best, what I like to do is actually just take the lure out of the packaging, lay it on top of the packaging of the jig heads. Just giving you an example here. Let's say we have this pack of jig heads here. You don't want to take them out of the packaging, obviously, because it's stapled together and all that. But what you want to do is lay the lure on top of the jig head and make sure it's laid on there to the point where it's not going above the head of the jig head. You want it to be flush up against the head, just like if it was naturally being put on there, because you don't completely cover the jig head with the lure. You want to make sure it's bumped up right up close to the head, and then see where that hook comes out on the body. And again, you want it to be near the middle or just a little bit in front. A little bit behind is also fine, but again, you don't want that hook to be too far down the body, and you don't want it to be too far up on the body. So that is just a quick tip as far as sizing up your jig heads to your lure. Again, very important because it can affect the action, and it can also affect your hookup ratio when you are trying to fish with these lures on jig heads. So that will wrap up this video. If you have any questions or comments about what I discussed as far as choosing the right size jig head for your soft plastic, definitely leave a comment or a question down below. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.